What's going on, you guys? Thank you so much for joining me back on my YouTube channel. I really do appreciate it. Today, I'm going to be going over just a few things that you should probably know if you want to own a 350Z. These are just the things that I've spent money on in the last year, or basically like my cost of ownership for the last year or, year and a few months of owning this car. It's super important. I didn't actually do any of this research before I bought this car, and there's actually some pretty interesting expenses that you wouldn't normally think about unless, I guess someone like me told you. So without further ado, let's get into it. I've written down 6 different things that I spend money on individually here, and so a lot of these are just like normal things you'd spend on a car, and a few of them pertain to like it being a kind of like a sports car, or like, I guess what I'm trying to say is like most cars have expenses like this, only more sporty cars like the 350Z and other cars like that, it's going to be a little higher just due to how they run and how they drive and stuff like that. So it'll make more sense when I explain some of this. But so basically my yearly cost of ownership, I'm going to give you guys a grand total of how much I've spent this year at the end of this video. So make sure to stay to that. But the very first thing I wanted to talk about is the tires. So right when I got this car, the tires were pretty much bald. There was pretty much nothing left. And I have like 3 or 4 degrees of camber all the way around. It's actually a little bit more in the back than the front. So I have uneven wear, which is when you're getting tires, it's a huge, basically a money pit, but like you can like switch them around and stuff. But so basically right when I got this car, I replaced all 4 tires on it. And with the camber, the previous owner said it took about a year for the tires to go completely. So I'm assuming every year I'm going to have to replace the tires on this 350Z, which like I was saying is a lot more than, the normal person would change their tires on like a Chevy Cruze or something like that. So that's something. I spent $400 on those tires just because you probably want to get better tires. You can go for like $40 tires, but I don't know. In my opinion, your tires are the only thing keeping you and all this horsepower to the road. So it's kind of like you definitely want to invest in some good tires just because your life is like on the line. So the next thing I want to talk about, the reason I keep looking down is because I got the Book of Destiny right here. This is actually my old math book, but because of quarantine, I don't use it anymore. And I thought I'd put it to better use anyways, talk to you guys, get some 350Z facts here. So the next thing is basically brakes and rotors. I think if you're going to do brakes and rotors, do not pay someone to do them because it is so expensive. Because parts alone are one thing, and then labor, they just charge you so much money. But like Les Schwab, I don't know if you guys have heard of Les Schwab, but they're like a tire changing place in the area. Just to do the rear brakes and rotors on this 350Z, they quoted me $600. I mean, $1,200 for all the way around is just insane for brakes and rotors. So I found another place over in Hemet. I don't know if you guys are familiar with Southern California, but Hemet, it has a rap. But so brakes and rotors at Hemet Transmission, where I got mine done. Ed is the owner of that place. He's actually super cool. He charged me $353 for just the rear, so basically 50% of what Les Schwab was going to charge. Next time I'm doing my brakes and rotors, I'm definitely going to be doing it. I'm going to be filming it for you guys so you can do it at home too, because $350 for just the rear brakes and rotors is like, I guess that's normal. I guess that's fine. If they're not resurfacing the rotors and you just need brand new rotors, I guess that's normal. Brakes are kind of like tires as well. It's like you don't want to cheap out on your brakes because that's the only thing stopping you once you get up to speed. So, I guess it's one of those things that you're just going to have to pay, hope that you don't drive crazy and are constantly having to replace those. But I would definitely try and do it yourself if you can. So definitely look out for that video in the future where I'll be doing it myself and you guys will be able to do it yourself at home too and save a whole bunch of money. So we've talked about tires and brakes. Now is fuel and gas. This is a huge thing that I don't think anyone talks about. I did a video recently on my YouTube channel talking about the yearly fuel costs for this 350Z. I'll break it down right here basically. In Southern California, fuel is basically $3.90 a gallon. That's like average. I drive to college, which is like 20 minutes down the freeway and back like 2 or 3 times a week. So it adds up quite a bit. And I was just going to college alone, like 3 days a week. I was spending $50 on gas. So you could do the math. That's like $17 a day just to go to college and come back. So, it adds up fast. I basically added it all up. That's not even including like going on cruises on the weekend with my friends and stuff, or going to get food, or just driving to the grocery store and stuff. Like that's just for school. So, if you're thinking about dailying this car, fuel is like the #1 thing you want to like budget in because it adds up so fast. And the weird thing is you don't see it because it's such a little amounts. Oh God, no. You guys, I'm so allergic to bees. It's not even funny. Please, bee, go away. Okay, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I'm just like, it's pollination season, the vineyard is going crazy, so there's bees everywhere. Oh man, I don't even know what I was saying. Sorry if I'm talking a little fast. I got my Starbucks right here, so, it's been like 2 months since I've had Starbucks, so, quarantine's been pretty crazy. Okay, so fuel, that's what I was talking about. So basically, $50 a week, 52 weeks in a year, 50 times 50, 5 times 5 is 25, that's like $2,500 a year just in gas, you guys. Huge thing to think about. huge thing to think about, you know. That's definitely not a good enough reason to not own one of these cars though, because it's totally, you know, you're totally able to get around that. Like obviously you can totally figure out, you know, your fuel situation, you know. So basically next I want to talk about the registration for this car. You know, it's another thing that people don't really talk about is how much it costs to register this car. Obviously in every single state that you're in the United States, it's going to be a different price. In Southern California this year, I have a little video of it I'll play right here. I took on my Instagram about a week ago. I paid my registration and it was $191. I mean, for a 14-year-old car, almost going on 15 years, that's kind of a lot, I feel like. I mean, even my Miata was $100 for a 30-year-old car. My projected, you know, assumptions is that gas cars, the registration costs are just going to keep going up until we're forced to sell them and get electric cars, because the registration on electric cars will probably be a lot cheaper. You know, that's just, I think if you're going to want, you will still be able to drive gas cars. It's just going to be a lot more money to drive them. This is all to save the environment and stuff, so it's not technically terrible or anything, but it is kind of sad because, like the Miata, for instance, $100 registration on a $2,000 car. Like, that's crazy. That's 5%. 5% of the car's entire cost is registration every year. Like, I don't know. That's just a lot to me. But anyways, you know, that's normal, I guess. Two more things I wanted to talk about, you know, just to kind of wrap it up here. I know the video is kind of getting long. Thank you guys for sticking around. If you've watched this far in the video, go ahead and drop a like or a thumbs up or whatever you want to call it. Helps me out in the algorithm and I would really appreciate it. So basically the next thing I wanted to talk about is the insurance cost. So I got a super good deal through AAA. I was able to insure both of my cars, the 350Z and the Miata, for just $132.92. And I think that is an insane deal. Like before I was paying $160 just for the 350Z. The plan I have, when you have more cars, it's like a bundle and they charge you less than what you would normally pay. So if you guys haven't gotten on that, definitely try and figure that out. I don't really know. I just did some searching around and I was able to get it down more than 50%. So just do some shopping. If you're paying a whole bunch for insurance, shop around, check it out. There are deals out there that will definitely save you money and you'll be happy you did, I promise. I didn't even know that I was going to be able to save that much money until I started looking around. So the very last thing I want to talk about that's like a monthly or yearly expense that the 350Z in particular has over most cars, and it's actually particular 350Zs, not all of them. And I know I talk about this in almost every single video. You know, guys, I need content, so obviously I'm going to be repeating a lot of the same stuff. The oil consumption. If you talk to a Nissan 350Z owner, just ask them about the oil consumption. Not all cars have it, but a lot of the cars do. I spend about $5 a month. I'd say I put a quarter of a quart every week in there, so a whole quart every month, and $5 a month or $6 a month, it comes out to like $60 a year. That's just another thing, not a huge expense though. So if you stayed this far in the video, I really appreciate it, and I wanted to go over a few hidden fees that aren't things you have to normally constantly be paying for, like gas and insurance and stuff. These are just fees that happen, you know, for random things in the world, like fixing things for your car. If a piece breaks, you got to order it online and fix it. It could be, you know, from $30 to $400, you know, depending on what you need. Parts are expensive, but you know, I don't think that's a big thing you should worry about. These cars are pretty reliable. Two more hidden fees. I know this video is getting really long, but it's all important information. Speeding tickets or tickets in general. I mean, I don't know if you guys know, but like a bright red 350Z, that's like a cop magnet. Luckily, knock on wood, I haven't had any experience with any police in this car. They've been super cool. You know, they usually just wave. I mean, I don't have a front license plate on my car, so you know, there's always a reason they could pull me over, I guess. But they've been super cool about it, and you know, I'm always super respectful when I see them. I always wave and say what's up. They're usually pretty cool. And then the last thing, this is probably the most important thing that absolutely nobody talks about because they want you to get these cars. And obviously I want you to get one of these cars too, but these cars are dangerous, and a huge hidden fee is your life, to be honest with you. Not so much the 350Z because it's like a little bit bigger of a car, but when it comes to the Miata or the 240 or any car in the 90s or early 2000s or 80s and stuff like that, I mean, a lot of them don't have working airbags anymore. A lot of people take the steering wheels out and put, you know, race steering wheels and stuff which don't have airbags in them. Seat belts, who knows the condition. A lot of them have race harnesses now, bucket seats, stuff like that. And you know, all these mods are cool and stuff. Every single mod you do is gonna, like, you know, hinder safety in some way or fashion. So just a huge thing. Obviously these cars are small, and if you get hit by somebody, usually it's not going to be your fault. It's going to be somebody else's fault, but it can be bad. So I just highly recommend everyone that if you're looking for a car like this, be safe out there, because I mean, there are some massive trucks, and when I'm in my Miata, I mean, like the middle of their wheel is eye level, and that can be scary when a semi truck goes by you and you could fit underneath of it easily. You know, that's just a huge hidden fee, the cost of your life. It's huge, you know. That's basically all I wanted to say about that. Those are just the hidden fees I don't think anyone talks about. Lastly, before I end this video, but the total for all of this added up, so $400 for tires, $350 for brakes and rotors, $2,500 a year for gas, $191 for registration, $133 for insurance, and about $60 a year for oil, comes out to around $3,700 a year. So you know, I would definitely add all that stuff into your budget if you're going to be getting a 350Z. This is just how I drive. Obviously, your driving experiences and your driving habits are going to be totally different from mine. You might not be flooring it around every corner like a lot of people do. You might spend half that much money on gas. This is more of just like, if you plan to daily this car, you're going to need brakes, you're going to need tires, you're going to need gas. All this stuff is like a huge thing. So I hope you guys learned something in this video. Please drop a thumbs up or a like. Hit the comment section if you have any questions. I'll reply to everybody. And if you haven't, please hit the subscribe button. I'm trying to hit 1,000 subscribers and we're getting really close, and I appreciate every single one of you guys. So thank you so much for joining me. I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace out.